All right, so we've given you a little bit of style in the language usage, and now we want to focus that specifically toward creating a powerful professional profile and looking at your employment history and giving the style of language and the opportunity for you to communicate through that style to make your CV as effective as possible. So let's look at giving you a powerful professional profile. Now, with a professional profile, what you want to do is you want to communicate as best as possible to the selector who's looking at it what your key skills are. And of course, what this involves is using the key words as effectively as possible. So, what are keywords? Well, keywords are the following. They include your skill set nouns. These are the industry identifiable skills that your employer is most interested in. Also, it includes action verbs, responsibilities, accomplishments that demonstrate your experience, and of course, dynamic adjectives, dynamic descriptors that will give a little bit more specific feeling to the type of person that you are. What you want to do with these words is you want to focus so that you're communicating to the selector what your abilities are, of course, but also a little bit more about your passion, your commitment, and your confidence. All of the things that the selector needs to know and what will make you successful at the job. Now, if you recall a little bit earlier, we actually looked at creating a professional profile. And you may recall that we used a profile from a person there, and we want to now go back and let's look at that again to see how the keywords are working in this particular profile. If you remember, this person put that they were a meticulous financial analyst who undertakes complex assignments, meets tight deadlines, and delivers superior performance. This person possesses practical knowledge in corporate finance and financial markets. Applies strong analytical skills to inform senior management of key financial trends and reduce company expenditure by more than $255,000, and operates with a strong sense of urgency and thrives in a fast-paced setting. Of these words, if you look closely, let's point out which words are our nouns, our verbs, and our adjectives. You will see with the words that are underlined, these indicate our skill set nouns. So financial analyst, corporate finance, financial markets, analytical skills, financial trends, company expenditure. These are the keywords that your recruiter or selector is looking at, scanning the page in order to identify if you're going to be an exact fit for the job criteria as indicated for the job. If it's an automated selector in a software that's screening your CV, then the computer program is going to be looking for these skill set nouns to identify you as a potential candidate. Now with the bold words, we're going to look at the action verbs. Our action verbs here are undertakes, meets, delivers, possesses, applies, inform, reduce, operates, thrives. These bold words, of course, your action verbs are important because you're communicating a variety of different abilities through these different actions, and so they stand out. You don't want to use the same action verbs always. You want to have a variety, and therefore your recruiter will see a variety of different skill abilities. And lastly, the italicized words indicate the adjectives. For example, we have meticulous, complex, tight, superior, practical, strong, key, fast-paced. These give a little additional feeling as to the commitment, the passion, the ability, and the confidence that you have toward these skill sets. And in combination, all of these words are creating a very strong professional profile. And one last thing to note about this particular professional profile is the subject from which the grammar or the verbs are being used. You may have noticed that there are uses of possesses. This is the third person singular. And why is the person using the third person singular to talk about themselves? Well, They have indicated in the very first sentence that they are a meticulous financial analyst who possesses, who applies, who delivers. So in this format, it's possible to use a third person singular form instead of the first person as long as it's consistent through the entire profile. And in the end, this person has given us words that create a sense of energy, confidence, as well as the skills that are needed potentially for the new job. The last area with respect to the language and style that you need to use that we're going to talk about here are keywords versus the buzzwords. Now, keywords, buzzwords, what's the difference? Keywords are the important words that you use in a CV that communicate both, as we mentioned before, the nouns, the action verbs, and some adjectives that describe you. The most important keywords are your nouns. In addition to that, however, with the verbs that you use, the verbs have a way of communicating your skills, and it's very important that you use the proper ones and that you don't use verbs that have been used too much. You see, recruiters, they read hundreds, thousands of CVs over a period of time, and you can imagine it's very common that they see some words again and again and again. Not that these are bad words, but sometimes the people reading will get tired of the words that you use. And so we're going to give you a list of some of the words that you can try to avoid and not use as much, and to use some other descriptors instead. A quick example of this is the following: team player, results-oriented, excellent interpersonal skills. In these three examples, these are words that, frankly, have been overused. Now, if you are new to seeing these words because English isn't your first language, you may not realize this. And that's okay. If you use these words, it's not the end of the world. However, what you want to do is use some words that are a little bit more effective. And later on, we're going to give you some alternatives to use for these buzzwords so that you don't make your recruiter tired.
Hi, I'm Anna Collins and I have a false friend for you. The false friend is the verb in Spanish, recordar, being translated as record. This is incorrect. This is wrong. Recordar in Spanish means remind in English. For example, my boss reminded me to turn off my computer, or my sister reminds me of my mother. So remember, recordar is remind. Record in English is grabar. For example, you are recording me now. So remember the two verbs, don't get them confused.
Hi, my name is Sandra Handler, and in this video we're going to look at a common error. And this one is related to the use of prepositions. As I've mentioned before, it's a typical problem because we all like to translate directly, which is a no-no. We shouldn't do it, but sometimes it's hard. So there's a song by the Carpenters, and it goes, "Why do birds, na 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 na," and then it goes on to say, "Just like me, they long to be close to you." So as you've noticed, after close, we use to, okay? We don't use from, we don't use of, we use to. So when you love somebody, you like to be close to them. So this is a typical substitute when we want to use near. I think near is a word that we learned before close, and it's another typical mistake we've mentioned. People need a preposition after near, and that's a mistake because after near, we do not use a preposition. So I always suggest, well, forget near and use close because you use to after it. So, well, if there's somebody you love, go get close to them. I'll let you have some privacy. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.